Morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss a very important and relevant topic related to electrical engineering, and it is AC bridges. The requirement to understand this topic is to have the knowledge of DC bridges. It's in school days only, in physics classes, a very common bridge is being taught, that is DC bridge, and example of the DC bridge is Wheatstone bridge. Given a circuit configuration, just to recapitulate the topic already covered, that is DC bridge. Here we connect 4 resistances in the form of a bridge, and in between a galvanometer is connected to detect the null point. The purpose of this bridge was to measure the unknown resistances. Particularly, we vary the 3 resistances out of 4 and which are known to us, and one resistance that is unknown. A balance is obtained between the unknown and known resistances. You might remember the basic equation that was derived for DC bridges was R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by R4. This implies R1 R4 equal to R2 R3. So, by this way we can measure the unknown resistance R1, which is not known initially, by balancing the 3 resistances in the circuit and obtaining a null point with the help of this galvanometer connected in the circuit. Under balanced condition, there will not be any current in this galvanometer, so this galvanometer will show 0 deflection, and that is why we use a null point type of galvanometer in this circuit. Similar to this is AC bridges. This concept is elaborated to measure the AC quantities as well. The point to be considered while measuring AC quantity is the consideration of the magnitude as well as the angle of the quantities. So if we look at the diagram, the diagram is similar. The only thing is that R1 is being replaced by Z1, R2 by Z2, R3 by Z3, R3 by Z3, and R4 by Z4. Galvanometer is being replaced by a detector and DC source by an AC source. This Z1 or Z2 or Z3 or Z4, this may be a combination of inductance, capacitance or resistance. The purpose of this bridge is to measure the unknown inductance of any coil or an unknown capacitance in the circuit. The idea is very similar to that of DC bridges, that the bridges are the impedances are connected in a bridge circuit, and in between there is a detector. We cannot use galvanometer in AC circuits, because otherwise the null point will not be stable in case of galvanometer. So particularly in AC bridges we use detectors, and depending upon the range of frequencies, the three general detectors that are used are headphones, vibrational galvanometers, and tunable amplifiers. The range of frequency for headphone is in the range of 250 Hz to 4 kHz. For this vibrational galvanometer, it is 10 Hz to 1 kHz. And for tunable amplifier it is 10 to 100 kHz. So depending on the range of frequency, we may choose any of the detector and connect in the circuit. Under balanced conditions, this detector will be showing null point and there won't be current in this branch. So Z1 by Z2 will be equal to Z3 by Z4. Z1 by Z2, of course it is with angle theta 1 and angle theta 2, will be equal to Z3 angle theta 3 by Z4 angle theta 4. This can further be written as Z1 Z4 is equal to Z3 Z2 and angle theta 1 plus angle theta 4 is equal to angle theta 2 plus angle theta 3. Right. To further understand this, we can take an example of Maxwell's induction bridge. This bridge is used for the measurement of unknown inductance in a coil. We have connected this we have connected the coil in this branch. The inductance of this coil is unknown. Rest of the branches have known parameters. We can vary this R2 and L2 in order to obtain a null point. R3 and R4 are again resistances. So if we apply this concept in this Maxwell's induction bridge and try to derive the equation for inductance and or calculate the inductance, it will be like this: R1 plus j omega L1 by R2 plus j omega L2 is equal to R3 by R4. These are in polar forms or coordinate forms. So R1 plus j omega L1 into R4 is equal to R3 plus R2 plus j omega L2. Now it's very simple equation. Compare complex calculations, complex number calculations. If we compare the real part with imaginary part, so comparing real part, we get multiplying both sides R1 R4 plus j omega L1 R4 is equal to R3 R2 plus j omega L2 R3. So R1 R4 is equal to R3 R2, and imaginary part as L1 R4 is equal to L2 R3, or L1 is equal to L2 R3 by R4, and R1 was equal to R2 R3 by R4. So this way we can calculate the value of unknown inductance of a coil in addition with the resistance of the coil. This can be further denoted in the form of phasor representation. We can take I1 as the reference phasor, because I1 is the current flowing in this and I2 is current here. Notation is like this. So I1 is the current flowing in the branch 1. So I1 is the reference phasor. So the voltage drop in this resistance R1 will be I1 R1, and in resistive circuits V and R are in safe phase. So I1 R1 is here, and this inductance voltage leads by current through 90 degree. So I1 omega L1 is perpendicular to this I1 R1. The resultant of these two will be E1. So under balanced conditions, E1 is equal to E2. That's why E1 is equal to E2. Similarly, we can go for this branch I3, because I1 and I3 will be equal when there is no current in the detector branch. So I3 will be in same line with the I1, and one resistance is connected in the branch. So resistance voltage drop across resistance will be in same phase with that of I1. So I1 R3, that is E3, in line with this I3, and E3 will be equal to E4 under balanced conditions. So resultant phasor will be E. Resultant of E1 and E3 will be E, or resultant of E2 and E4 will be E. So that's all for, thank you.